Hi everyone, I'm Deb. Today I'm going to share with you some of my favorite tools. And look, you don't have to use anything I use, or you could use everything I use. I'm just telling you the stuff I use that works for me. I don't think I'm going to tell you everything in my studio, but it is a long list, so there's a lot of stuff. This started because a student of mine asked if I had a favorite tools list, and I said I would make one, and it kind of grew. It's really big. It is 12 pages long, okay? I will include this at the end of the video. I will attach it here so you could just look through. Let's get started. I love a firm rubber-tipped tool. It has to be firm. I got two ones that I love from Blick Art. One, when it first came, it was gigantically large, and I was like, what am I gonna do with this? This is literally my favorite tool. I tell everybody. Then I bought another set from them. It's smaller, it's a kid's set. It's called a color shaper, and it's spelled color like the UK way, C-O-L-O-U-R. And they're smaller, but they're firm. The trick is to get firm ones.
That's what she said.
A Dremel or a rotary type tool. I bought mine from Harbor Freight, so it was pretty affordable. And I just recently bought these bits from Diamond Core Tools. They have an 80 grit. One is 120. I'm not sure, but it's a good tool to have to grind away any kind of a glaze drip from your piece. We know none of us have that, but somebody else might need your help. This I bought years ago because I was cutting wine bottles and I needed to sand the top of them to drink out of. I bought this 3M set. I know I bought it on Amazon, and it was from 60 grit to 800 grit, and it's pretty amazing. You can get away with this 200 and 400 grit. I recently just bought this for a friend. I don't know if she uses it, but I think that just a couple of swipes of each, always underwater, by the way, always underwater, never dry sand, always wet sand. Couple of swipes of each of those and your bottom is smooth. I just recently bought a 1500 grit sandpaper to do a finishing sand after the glaze on my mugs. Also, it's great to have wet dry sandpaper around. I wet everything, so I'm not sure if it would be any different, but I also do have wet dry sandpaper, but I wet my non-wet sandpaper. Non-wet, or other words, dry. Isn't it funny if you don't know what an oxymoron is, you're just a regular moron? I have a whole bunch of rasp. I have the normal Sureform rasp, but this is curved, and if you don't dry it off, it gets rusty. Of course, you can buy some replacement blades. I also have this long rasp. I recently had to buy this plainer rasp after someone lent me theirs, and I loved it. Then under cutting, I have these disposable scalpels that I recently bought. You could just use an X-Acto knife or your knife, but these are so thin. It's like not making such a divot in the clay when I cut. It's actually really nice. Speaking of knives, I love this. I don't know how to say this brand. I think it's Seam, X-I-E-M. I love this knife of theirs, but it's pretty sharp, so be careful. I love a good fettling knife, a hard one, not one that just comes with your basic pottery toolkit. I love my circle cutter set. It just forms an exact circle, and it's amazing. It could be the bottom of your mug, it could be the start of a bowl you're coil building. It's really great to get perfect circle shape. Oh, and when making holes in my clay, I love these ones because the clay doesn't get stuck inside. You could get the clay out, which is really helpful. So on my work, I do a lot of monoprint transfers, and I make my own silk screens, and I do screen print transfers. This is the newsprint I use. I have this art binder portfolio that I carry my silk screen transfers to and from studio to studio, so they don't get crushed because I like to do a lot of the screen prints in underglaze, and then I will paint a slip on them. These are my favorite squeeze bottles. They're really little, so you could get bigger ones, but I'm not using them for such long periods of time that they're hurting my hand or anything. But if you're having problems cramping up, maybe you want a larger size. I bought these pins to keep in the top of my squeeze bottles, and I bought these silk ones because some of them were like such skinny tips. I needed like a silk delicate pin to put in there, but a normal pin will mostly work in every other bottle. And also I bought these, I think they're like for beadwork. I bought them at this place called Lima Beads, Lima, and it was pretty affordable, and they didn't charge shipping. I think it was $1.60 for 20 of them, and they were longer. So I needed some that were longer to hold my tubes. This is the silk screen mesh I use. I chose it randomly. I did some research when I was trying to figure this out, how to screen print. I do have a background in photography, so being in a darkroom was not that foreign to me. Fonzie had his office in the bathroom. Why is that cool? It smells like piss and shit in there. I use these metal push pins in the darkroom, in my screens, and if you watch my screen print video, you'll understand why. But I love these push pins. This is a scrub pad I use. It has a handle, and this is how I clean my screens. This is the aluminum scoop I use for silk screening. This is the LED bulb I use. I know it was like $16, and my silk screens, they expose in a minute and a half. It's small. I mean, I'm doing a small setup in the bathroom, so you know, it works for me. This is the Speedball blockout tape that I tape around my screens after I'm done making them. Sometimes I get lazy and I don't even tape them. This is the transparency film I use. Just make sure you're getting the transparency for your printer. So I have a laser jet. This is for the laser jet. This one is for inkjet. And just make sure it fits. And when I first bought a 100 pack, it was like 19 bucks, but I kind of find them for around 13. So try to look for, at least for the laser printer, I know it's around $13. So look for around there. It does fluctuate price. Like everything probably on this list fluctuates price. So I gave links to these things, but just try to find the best price, obviously. This is the squeegee I use. At first I had bought a softer squeegee, and my prints were not coming out so great, and I couldn't figure out why. And then one time I used just a rib, you know, a yellow rib, but it just came out so much better, and I was like, oh, I need something firm. Again, like those color shapers, firm. Firm seems to be the answer to all of my issues.
That's what she said. Ha! I don't get it.
And I use a brayer. I have this wooden brayer. I have this rubber brayer. After I do my mono prints, I really try to lay them down. I lay a piece of, maybe another piece of newsprint on top, and I really want to make sure they're adhered, that there are no air bubbles. My ink is not so ready for screen printing. Now I will say it used to be I would buy Speedball underglaze, and it was the perfect consistency. It came a little thicker, and I really liked it for silk screening. But recently it's come looser, and there's more water in it, and it's not convenient for me. So Amico just put out these inks, and I did buy them. They come at a real perfect consistency, but it's like a little, I mean, I think it's an 8-ounce jar. I'm hoping maybe it's 4 ounces, but I think it's 8 ounces. It is like almost 30 bucks. I think I found it for 27. Maybe I had some kind of a discount. I might have gotten it for 24, but shop around. Shop around. My mama told me, you better shop around. When I was 3, my mom left me at the bottom of an escalator in the Queens Center Mall because I was scared to go up it. She really taught me a lesson that day, not to trust her. So the thickening agent, sometimes you can add a little bit of this to thicken up your underglaze, but I don't really like to thicken anything up. I, would leave the jar open if it needed to thicken up. If it's too loose, it's gonna kind of run through your screen and get a little blurry looking. So you do want it thicker. When I do my newsprint transfers, I love, for the final step of rehydrating, I love these hake brushes. And I say the bigger the better. I'm just gliding it on, and these are really great for just kind of doing that last brush stroke. When I make my screens, I use an electric staple gun. I started with a regular staple gun, but it really hurts my hands. And the electric staple gun, it kind of jams when I get down to like this many staples left. So it's annoying because you only put this many in, and you get down to this many, it jams. But all I do is just add some more staples, and I keep going. By the time I'm, making screens, I can deal with it. It's fine. And these are the staples I use. The one I have is a staple and nail gun. So these are the brads or nails that I also got. But I don't use this for the screens because the mesh will just come right through. But it's good to have for other applications. This is the wood I get. I get it from Home Depot. I was first getting a pressure treated wood just because they could get wet. But this, if you want to polyurethane it, look, I'm lazy. I don't do any of this stuff, and this is just cheaper than the pressure treated wood, and it works for me. Great, we're on to sgraffito tools. Very short list. I will say any diamond core tool you want, you cannot go wrong. But for sgraffitoing, I love the L3. It is a football shape, a small one on one side and a larger football shape on the other side, and it just makes a beautiful line when you are carving. I used to use a pin tool, and I also used to use a Kemper little stylus, which I love. And you know what? That's like $9. I know Kemper recently went out of business, but I still see their tools around, and I really love them and recommend them. So, and I know I recommended that stylus to somebody, and they bought it and loved it. So, you don't need such an expensive tool like the diamond core, but if you're going to be doing a lot of carving, you might want to invest. I like to use a lot of wire in my work. I have this necklace. What is holding it on here is some Canthil A1 wire. I used to buy Kemper high-fire wire, and that was 17 gauge. And from this guy, Wire Optum, I would buy 16 and 18 gauge. I also bought 20 gauge wire, which is thinner and more malleable. Sometimes if you made a hole in a bead and it was too thin, the 20 gauge from Wire Optum, I would just loop through that skinny bead and then hang it from the longer, the harder, firmer wire. Firmer, again, firmer.
That's what she said. No time, but she did. No time!
I think my wire is like 9 gauge that holds it. That is from, I think it's called like United Art Craft. Mixing attachments. These are just mixing attachments I have. One I use for mixing glazes, for plaster. This one for plaster, actually. Oh, and I have this skinny one that I mix in my underglaze jars. Ribs, obviously, I think we all know, if we're in ceramics, our favorite ribs. I love a mud tool. Who doesn't? I mean, Cheryl Mud Tool's amazing. To me, my two favorite ribs, the red small mud tool and the yellow mud tool. The yellow one is a little firmer, again, firmer.
That's what she said. Or he said.
I will get all my canvas texture out from the slab roller. I will do a lot of things with it, but I love the red rubber rib for doing my transfers. So it's amazing. And who could forget my favorite Mud Tools serrated rib. This one I love. I love this one because it's skinny on one side, it's fat on the other. You do have that other general fat one, but this is my favorite rib. I love this rib. I use it for everything. Anytime I'm joining a seam, I rough it up, I smooth it over. Brushes. I know nothing about brushes. I'm just giving you links to brushes I've bought recently that I love. I love a teeny tiny brush for details. Here are a couple, and then I bought these test tubes for carrying them back and forth. I also I put my Diamond Core L3 in one of these tubes. I just don't want anything to happen to it. I love these Chinese calligraphy brushes. They just hold a lot of slip, and when I'm decorating my transfers, it's a good thing. I bought this variety pack of brushes. Maybe you know more about brushes and you're thinking my brush choices are horrible, but I just like to have a lot of brushes around. I work at home, I'm cleaning them off, but not really, so I have to, like, you know, get a new brush. Long story about where I clean my things. You don't want to know. I did not buy these yet, but these are in my cart right now, and they look like really nice brushes. These look like really nice brushes for laying oxides or glazes on a piece. I have not bought them because I'm like, do I need these brushes? And part of me thinks yes, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't need every tool in the world. No, I don't. No, I don't need every tool in the world. My husband does not need to know. My husband just sent me a text from a Google Workspace support person named Elaine May, and he said, man, she's fallen on hard times. And I said, tell her you loved Bye Bye Braverman. And he said, she had nothing to do with that movie. You're thinking of Ishtar. And I said, exactly. Tell her you loved Bye Bye Braverman. People love this. I have not used this yet, but it seems amazing. I've seen the applications of it, and it's great. It's just called Rub and Buff, and it puts like a gold on top of your pieces. Obviously not food safe, so you're not going to put it on your functional work, but if you're making a sculpture or some glues and epoxies, I use E6000 for everything. I love it. I buy them in the little tubes because I feel like when I have bought the bigger tube, it dries out fast, so I find the little tubes just stay longer. And I have used this Milliput epoxy to put some ceramics back together, and I think it comes in different colors. I just have the basic white, but I think it comes in all sorts of colors to match. Oh, and then I just have this other epoxy, this JB Weld, that comes in a two-part that I've used also to glue things back together. Wheel and trimming tools. This is one of my favorite trimming tools. I just love it. A small Kemper wire tool that to me, one of my favorites. I love this mini ribbon tool set. I just love getting, when I'm making a foot, to get into these little teeny crevices. And I love a sponge on a stick. I've always made my own with a paint roller and a dowel. Make sure your dowel fits your paint rollers. I do like smaller tools. It could just be because I have smaller hands. Maybe I will start with a bigger ribbon tool just for the initial trimming, but I love a small ribbon tool. Some people call this cheating, but you know, the wheel is cheating. What isn't cheating in ceramics? The Gif and Grip is just a tool for helping you trim quicker. One of the things I hate, I get my tool, my pot centered for trimming, and then I realize I kind of forgot to look inside. And I'm not at the point where I just remember what my pot looked like. So I have to take it off, and then I have to recenter. And you know, I recently got one of these for my birthday. I'm recommending it. You know, if you could afford it and it's something that will help you in your practice, I say why not? I also do a lot of plaster, mold making, and slip casting, and these are the tools under that heading. I use Pottery Plaster #1. I recommend you make a damp box. That could be your first plaster project. I actually bought these garbage liners. They're really heavy duty, so I could mix the plaster in there, and any waste I could just kind of tie up and throw away. But if you have leftover plaster, that's the perfect time to pour it into an airtight box and make your own damp box. But you could always just put a wet towel in a box, and that will keep, or like a wet sponge. It will be a poor man's damp box. Poor man's damp box, because I mean a damp box isn't for an expensive man. Use these scrapers to clean my molds. I love them. I use this tool. They call it a Lucy tool, and apparently there used to be a better tool called a Lucy tool. This is like an imitation that maybe somebody made when the previous one went away, and I still like it, so I probably would have loved the original, but this is the one I use. I use these clamps for slip casting my cuddle boards. I have the small and the large. Die cutting. I have a silhouette machine. I bought it many years ago. I think I bought it at Michael's for like $100. Back then, I think that was the only machine. There was no cry cut. It's so rudimentary. I think so the one I got was the silhouette portrait, the original. Now I think you could cut craft foam. So if you're into that, you could look for something better. I don't find I need to upgrade for what I can use it for. I do, but I know I would use an upgraded one even more. But I have other things that I use. Like, my husband has an amazing 3D printer. This is not on the list, but I know that he had one that gave him a lot of troubles, and he upgraded to Bamboo, B-A-M-B-U, and he does suggest if you're gonna get one, go with them and just get the best one you can afford from that brand. And he really has not had any troubles. And recently, he made me this amazing alphabet set. He got all of the files from this guy we watched that originally made this set for leatherworking, and we watched the video during the pandemic, and I said, oh my god, that would be so amazing for clay, and he remembered, and now he's gotten better and he was able to do it. So he made me 2 sets. One is for stamping into the clay, and the other I could do the leather, or I could dip it into ink and then stamp it. So I'm really excited. It's really awesome. That wasn't even on my list. That was an aside. I hate when I see a sign that says no U-turns. I mean, who's making a U-turn on purpose? We're lost. That's why we need to make a U-turn. Oh, so we're into die cutting. So yes, that's the machine. I think this is the lowest silhouette machine they have now. There are other ones. I don't know anything about the cry cut, so I don't even know if that's actually, I keep hearing people call it the cricket, which makes so much sense. That's kind of cute, but I thought it was cry cut, so I'm the idiot here. I've gotten this vinyl. It's great because on the other side, maybe they all come like this, but I don't know. It has a grid, so you know your paper is 8.5 by 11. I just cut that out to put it in. These are the replacement mats I use. I always just look for the cheapest one, so that's what I would suggest to you to do. I also bought this heat transfer to make like a t-shirt, decals and lusters. Here's a heartbreaker for me because I did not know that. I knew that Duncan was bought from Mako, and I knew that Mako was continuing the Duncan Gold Luster line, or just the Luster line, but I guess recently they announced they would not be continuing this luster line, and I did not know. And I keep hearing, oh, this person bought a year's worth, and that person bought, you know, all the luster they could have, and it's a real bummer because I did not know, and I have a little bit. I've used the premium gold, the bright gold, and the mother of pearl, and I love them all, but there are other brands. When I was doing this research, it looked like there was this brand, I think it's called Colorbia, but I know Laguna is making their own lusters. Other people make a luster, so it's gonna have to be a test, I guess. I don't know if the essence is going away, but that's how I would clean my brushes, with the Duncan essence. I had one essence for the premium gold, one for the bright gold, one for the mother of pearl, and I had a different brush for each of those also. You probably could not tell, but this is a mother of pearl lustered cloud necklace. It's a real bummer. It's a bummer. Cleaning your studio tools. I kind of have a studio at home, even though I work out of 2 other studios. I don't really do my own work at those studios. So number 1 important was getting a HEPA vacuum, a wet dry vacuum with a HEPA filter. So make sure you get the correct filter, because the HEPA filter is green. The one it comes with is white, and that is great for everyday use, but for Vacuuming up clay dust, you want the HEPA filter. And I know you could wash these, people say, but I would just get a new one. When it's all gunked up, I would just get a new one. It's 20 bucks. Now I actually saw that you could do like a subscribe and save from Home Depot, and maybe it's like 18 bucks. Oh, I got all these accessories for my vacuum. At first I did not have them. I could not find the right size. So for the little 3-gallon that vacuum that I have, these accessories, the wand, the floor brush, the mini brush, these all fit my vacuum. And of course I have these large sponges. They're just great. They're just great cleanup sponges. We as potters know we have the worst hands in the world. And many years ago, I bought this wax machine. I absolutely love it. It was only 30 bucks. So this is the one I had bought. It's now 49, I think, but this one is 30, and you could just get this one. I would look for around $30. You're gonna wanna buy the replacement wax just to add some wax, because it definitely goes away and it gets a little dusty. I'm not really sure how to get rid of the dust that has fallen in there, but I love it and I'm the only one that uses it. And I just make sure I wash my hands, dip it in. It so feels nice. Also, these are my favorite Band-Aids because I have gotten a cut from Pottery on my thumb, and these were the only Band-Aids that helped me. And you know, I was covering it with the Band-Aids, and maybe I was trying to remember to wear a glove until it healed. But these Band-Aids are the bomb. This is the hand cream I use. It comes in these tubes. I prefer the tub. I love it. My friend also just recently bought me this Kiehl's amazing hand cream, and that's also amazing, but that's probably a lot more money than this O'Keeffe's, and the O'Keeffe's works great. You just gotta remember to constantly be moisturizing before you go to Pottery so that you kind of have a barrier protection. I feel like I should be wearing gloves more, and these are the gloves that I bought because I have to look cool, so they have to be black. Glaze making. Okay, I need an immersion blender. This is great for mixing my slips at home, for just making a little test batch of something. This is just a great tool to have for the studio. It's a great scale. It measures to the hundredths. I used my kitchen scale for quite a while. My kitchen scale, I would weigh postage on it, I weigh some things, but it only went to the 10th, so I wasn't sure if, you know, when I weigh my coffee in the morning, am I getting 17.5 grams? Am I getting 17.1 grams? Am I getting almost 18 grams? There's a difference. I don't really care with my coffee, but with my glazes, I would like to be more precise. As long as it goes to the hundredths, I really didn't care. I think it's precise enough, so I would just shop around for the best scale you could find it for the hundredths, and this is what I found. I've recently bought a lot of different kind of mixing cups. I bought these 16 ounces, these 32 ounces, these 32 ounces without lids, these 32 ounces with lids. This is the respirator I bought and the cartridges, and these cartridges are good for organic vapors and for clay dust, so for silica dust, for clay particles. So I recommend this. I change them every 6 months. I'm always looking though at them because sometimes they kind of go below like $15 thereabout, and I'm like, oh, I should get some. But they're usually around 21 or so. And then here are my general tools that I couldn't fit into anything else, or I got tired of putting it into the group it should go into. Okay, Shimpo banding wheel. Obviously you could get another banding wheel. Shimpo is primo. I have this little one and it's amazing. I really love it. They're really heavy and they're pretty expensive, but they're great. And I think I'll have this forever. If I could have all the heights and all the sizes, I would, but you know, take it easy. Hey, I said if. I said if. Why do they give you water if you're choking? Heat gun, I love a heat gun. I try not to use it too much, but sometimes I do use it. It's better to use on my transfers than a hairdryer, because a hairdryer or a fan just makes the paper blow everywhere. The heat gun does not have so much air going through it. Scratchy scoring tool. If I am not using my scraper, I will use this little one. I've seen people make their own with sewing needles, and I don't have time for that. This one, I don't think this was too expensive. Pottery thickness sticks or this roller. Don't get metal like I got. Get a wooden one like this. To roll a slab at home is kind of difficult for me, and this really helped. So I have like 2 different sets of pottery thickness sticks. You could just go to the hardware store and, you know, make your own, but they also sell sets. These rollers come with different attachments, so you know, I like to use the 1/4 inch a lot, so you would just put those attachments on and your slab will be a 1/4 inch. So my metal one, it sticks to the clay a lot. You do not want to get metal. Craft foam. I love craft foam for everything. I work on craft foam. I cut templates out of craft foam. I just think craft foam is amazing, and I buy these 12 by 17 inch sheets and I use them for everything. I have my work on them. If I don't want them to dry out, I have them sandwiched between 2 to fix the rim of things. I make a lot of templates out of them. I love craft foam. No, we do not have stock in craft foam, unfortunately. I just recently bought this Craft Tex paper. I'm gonna try to make templates out of that, but it's a paper, but it's a fabric, and so it's I might like this for my templates better because they will lay flatter than the craft foam, and I just like trying new things, and I thought I would include it here because it seemed really cool idea. Safety goggles. Now, sometimes I don't wear safety goggles because I have my glasses and I'm like, that's eye protection, but these safety goggles fit over my glasses, which was important because I was like, how do I do this if I needed safety glasses? And I just love these ones. A wire cutter tool, obviously, I don't like the ones that come in the basic pottery toolkit. They kink up, so I would just go with any other brand. Dirty Girls is the one I have, but I also bought a cheaper one that's a different kind of wire. You could make your own from guitar string, I've seen people make, or fishing wire. Buy these when you're going to get some other supply. Small firm metal rib. I love this one. This little firm rib is amazing. It takes off my transfers when I've made a mistake. I could just kind of scrape it away. I could do that with other ribs too, but this one just works perfectly. And I just love the petite nature of this one. I bought this chicken wire mesh when I was first doing clay, and I was experimenting with different textures, rolling different textures into clay. So this plastic chicken wire mesh, I still have this. I love it. But I would get doilies. My friend has made me doilies. Anything you could find, you could roll into clay. A wiffle ball. I'm big on making my own stamps. I will bisque clay, carve into clay and make it into a stamp, and I will bisque and use that as texture. I love adding texture to my stuff if I'm not doing a transfer. Obviously, those two don't go so well together most of the time. Sometimes it does. Silicone molds. This one is lips. I used for a Richard Dawson plate I made, but I love a silicone mold. A black underglaze pencil. I hate the way these sound, but this is really good to write on the bottom of a test tile if you forgot to sign your name, just to make a line when you're doing a test glaze to see if you could see through it. I love this. So Amico sells them for about 20 bucks, but you could just kind of type in underglaze pencil and probably get 2 for 20. Stencils. I love a stencil. I have a sunflower. You can do underglaze painting over it. You can do water etching with it. There's a million things. You could roll your rolling pin over it. I mean, endless possibilities. I just love a stencil. You could make your own on the Silhouette machine. You know what? I do not remember why I originally bought my Silhouette machine. I don't remember. It was so long ago and I don't remember. It was like in a drawer for many years. This is the foam I use for carrying stuff back and forth to the studio. I donated most of it to the studio, one of the studios where I work, but I kept a couple of pieces, and if I'm bringing something back and forth to get fired, I will kind of wrap it up in this. A compass for making circles, just your general old elementary school compass. Cork coasters. I bought these cork coasters to glue onto the bottom of a coaster set I made. Oh, plastic wrap. I like a good plastic wrap. I bought these rolls to kind of, I use it for everything, but I got it to roll on the bottom of like a metal bowl, like to roll, so the whole bowl gets covered with this plastic wrap. Then the bottom, I could just kind of rip it open and rip it off. I love this Mr. water bottle. It sounds like it's a Mr. and Mrs. No, it's a Mr. But it just, the way it comes out of the bottle is pretty amazing. It's not like a spray, and I really like that. Listen, a great pair of scissors you need in your studio. I've been using these old, like broken pair of scissors for so long, and I recently bought a new pair of Fiskars, and I had rotary scissors for something else, but I use that for clay too. That's actually good. It's not on the list. Maybe I should add it. I had an old rotary cutter, and it broke, and it's guaranteed for life. Fiskars is guaranteed for life. So they sent me a new one. And they didn't even want the old one back. I think they just wanted a picture of the broken one. But I threw it out because it was broken. And so buy a new pair of Fiskars. They'll last you for life, because if they don't, you'll get a new one from them when they break. No, you know, you're losing money. You're losing money if you don't get this new pair of Fiskars. Ridiculous, guys. A good picture hanger. I love these. This is called Disc. I think it's out of the UK. I've bought big ones. I've bought little ones. Right now I had a plate. It was in 2 halves, and I put one on each half so that it could hang together, you know, and then wire between those 2 things. And you just wet it to make it like a glue, and they have their own like hook on the back. They're amazing. I really highly recommend these. I covered my floor in this Home Depot vinyl flooring, so I don't care about messing it up and getting clay dust and whatever, but I still would lay this plastic down. I have it on the wall on the side where my wheel is, and I have it on the floor if I'm going to do plaster, because it's just easier to just wrap it all up and throw it away. Oh, cheesecloth for drying. So I would always take a wet paper towel, take all the water out, wrap it around my piece if I thought it was gonna dry too quickly, if I didn't have time to get to it, but that would become moldy. Then my friend told me that she had learned from her teacher to use cheesecloth, and this is amazing. You just wet it, take all the water out, and it lets it breathe still. If I roll a slab and I don't get to the slab and it gets too firm, I will use this cheesecloth and lay it on one side only of the slab, and I come back like a couple hours later and it's like ready to roll. And I don't mean roll, it's ready to rock and roll. It's already rolled. Using the stuff the garlic came in, the stuff the onions came in, everything I was rolling into clay. I got these placemats, not for placemats, for rolling into clay. Magic eraser cleans up the bisque work. Amazing. If you're doing like Mishima work, it really cleans it up well. I will use a big extruder. Actually, this is my handheld extruder. I will say it hurts. So you gotta have really soft clay in there, like really, really soft to not have it hurt. Sometimes I will push it down on a table, like the handle, but I make a lot of handles that way. I will pull a handle, I'll use a slab, I'll cut a slab, I'll roll a coil. I do handles many different ways. Oh, this is a nice magnifying light for you to work on small, delicate things. My eyes are going, I'm getting older, and I love this. It's rechargeable. There's this foot maker tool, and it's literally just a corn cob that the guy rounded, but it's only $4. So if you're gonna buy anything from GR Pottery Forms, which is an amazing place that has wooden molds, all different kinds of things that you could build on, and I'm not going to go into it. Just check out his website. It's amazing. I bought this one that I cut in half and reformed because he didn't have the size I wanted, and I love it. If you're gonna buy anything from him, throw this foot maker in. You just pull it through your clay, then you have an instant foot to put around your mugs and bowls and plates, and it's great. Oh, I always have terracotta pots around in different sizes to put into my hand-built things especially, but to keep things in the round because it won't stick. It's like bisqueware. So you could make your own, but a terracotta pot probably pretty cheap. So pottery stores. I love the ceramic shop. They're out of Pennsylvania. They are always offering some kind of coupon. Recently I bought something from them and then I got the coupon the next day for $20 off. So I emailed them and they were like, well, that doesn't apply to what you're getting, but we'll give it to you anyway. Like, what? Who does that? It's amazing. I love Bailey Pottery out of Kingston, New York. I have driven by there and placed orders and gone to pick it up. I love Ceramic Supply in Lodi, New Jersey. Clay King is great, but Ceramic Shop I have found is always like a good price consistently when you add up shipping and everything else. So they're kind of like my go-to, although I have ordered from all these other places. And sometimes they don't have a material I need and I will get it from somewhere else. But I order from Blick all the time. They're a great source. And if you're in Manhattan, the Blick on 21st Street seems to have a lot of stuff that the other ones don't. And if you're going to that Blick on 21st Street, there is something on 19th Street. It's called the Complete Sculptor. It's Complete, C-O-M-P-L-E-A-T. And they have a lot of pottery and sculpting supplies. So if you're in a jam, and they might be more expensive, but if you're in a jam, you could always pick something up from them. Oh, my last and final thing. I love this place, cookiecat.com. On this list, I have a link to where it will get you to the exact place to design your own cookie cutter, but I use it all the time. At first, I was just using them and buying stuff from this guy, and then my husband got a 3D printer and I noticed that I could just design it there and I download it for free. My husband says this is not such a great thing. Everybody could give you a free 3D printer file, but not everybody is giving me a free 3D printer file, and I'm designing it on this thing and they're giving it to me the way I need to give it to my husband for him to print me out whatever I need. And believe me, I ask him for a lot of things to print out. So anyway, I highly recommend it. I know there are other places, and there's like I know people use De La Design. She's great. She's got a lot of cookie cutters and stuff, but this place you could design your own, and it's pretty affordable. It's $5 for each cutter. So you could get your little maker's mark made, or you could get a big cookie cutter. I think after a certain size, it goes up in price, but maybe you want to get a few things because it was like only $5 for shipping. So each thing was like $5, you know. I was just like, this is crazy. But I highly recommend that. I'm sorry that this video went on so long. It became more of great tools, not only my favorite tools, but these are all tools I use. And yes, these are not only the only tools I use, but every single thing in here, unless I said it, I have used. I think there were 2 things that I haven't used yet. Those big brushes I wanted, and the craft text paper that I did buy. I just haven't used it yet. I will try to make this available as a PDF. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you want to know anything about these tools that I haven't mentioned or I haven't shown, please let me know and I will let you know. I'll make a video or show you how I use it. And that's it. Thank you so much. Oh, food grade silicone. Food grade.